become so easily distracted. So, yeah.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but I think we are going live. We are live. No, not yet.
I thought we were.
Yeah, no, we are live from this side, but it's still there showing on the Facebook feed there. All right.
Oh, okay.
We were live on the Facebook feed. Vanita, trying times for people stuck in limbo. Yeah, I think the stuck in limbo is probably one of the worst places to be. I'm not meaning New Zealand's the worst place to be, but to be able not to go anywhere because you're not allowed to. I know South Africans are traveling through this country currently with campers, and they're not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah, I know, Jan. You know what? These people that have visitors, they have parents, all sorts of people with them that can't even fly out. Those that have flights booked, people on work visas that have issues with their job. So immigration have done, and they did this on Monday. They invoked the epidemic management notice. Okay, so this is on the Immigration Act. And what that does is it actually states that those people in New Zealand can actually get 3-month visas. So when they did this on Monday, what they pretty much did was said from the 2nd of April, anybody between the 2nd of April and the 9th of July, if their visas are expiring, and this is for all temporary visas. This is student, visitor, limited visas that usually never can get renewed, work visas and so on. What's going to happen is if your visas are expiring between the 2nd of April and the 9th of July, you get automatic 3-month extensions. Well, or not 3-month extensions. They said it's an extension until late September.
So you don't need to apply, basically.
You don't need to. You'll get an email either to your immigration advisor or to yourself saying that there's an automatic extension on that. Okay, and they'll give you a date on that. We don't know what that end of September date is right now. So anybody whose visas are expiring between now and the 1st of April, you need to reapply for new visas. What's going to happen there is immigration are going to give you interim visas when they expire. Those interim visas are valid for 6 months while immigration makes a decision. Once they make a decision, then you know how long your visa is actually valid for. So this is going to keep people lawful in the country. So that's what you need to be aware of. So just note those dates. Make sure if you don't have a date stamped and you enter on a certain date, you need to start counting. I think it's important. So it's important for people to remain lawful within the country, and the onus is on them to do that. Okay, so please be aware of those dates. Okay.
All right.
Do we have any questions? Somebody said no sound.
Somebody said no sound, but let me. Goodness me! For one or another reason, I've got technology problems this morning like crazy. It looks like there is really no sound there.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm just listening on the other side as well, but no sound there. I wonder why. This is absolutely ridiculous this morning. Let's see if we can change anything on this here. Weird how this stuff happens, huh? Let's see if we can.
Somebody says sound is perfect.
They say we can hear us. Some people can hear us. Sound is perfect. All right. Let's not scratch around anymore. Let's continue with our discussion.
Right.
You were saying between if your visa expire on what day you need to
so just make a note, guys, that between the 2nd of April to the 9th of July, if your visas are expiring, and this is for any temporary visa, work visa, visitor visa, student visa, limited visa, you will get an automatic extension till the end of September. And that will be emailed to yourself or your advisor to tell you that you've got an automatic extension. Anybody whose visas are expiring between now and the 1st of April, you need to make sure you apply for a new visa, whatever that visa was. And obviously after the 9th of July, you need to again apply for new visas. Now, just remember that while immigration, I think it was last week, they said that, or Jacinda said that they will review the border restrictions, I think in 16 days. And that, I think, took us to the end of the month. The borders are closed until the 19th of July, and this is for travel restrictions. Sorry, not July, June, 19th of June. So that's 3 months. So they announced this on the 19th of March, and they close the borders for 3 months.
So that's no new or no non-Kiwis in.
That's right, yes. And as you know, flights are quite limited already. They stop in domestic flights, I think, until Friday. We've got until Friday for domestic flights. Okay. And then it's only going to be cargo, and all the important shipments coming through. So that's
from Suren asking, what about people who just got their visa and have not entered the country as yet?
Right. So those people that have got their visas, you have an entry date on that visa, and it's usually 3 months from the date immigration have issued those visas. So if the border is closed, what you can apply for is a variation of travel conditions to extend travel time. So don't let that lapse. Don't do anything. Apply for a variation of travel conditions. Immigration will process that and give you a new travel date. So I think it's going to probably cost you about $190 because that's what the cost is right now. It's not, unfortunately, not going to be free, but it's better than doing the whole thing again.
That's right. The problem with some South Africans is they've got camper vans. If they've rented the camper van for about another week,
yeah,
and now they're stuck somewhere between here and Christchurch.
I know. And Jacinda's actually said wherever you are as of midnight last night is where you will stay for the next 4 weeks. And it's like, whoa. I think there are still some, because if she's still got domestic flights going until Friday, I think you still have time to find a suitable accommodation for 4 weeks. Yeah.
But the problem would be, I'm reckoning some people has got limited budgets, so
yeah,
it could also be a major problem.
I
mean,
know.
All the free camping sites are closing down. Freedom Camping's closing down. Your NZNCAs are closing down. So
yeah, and you can understand because of all the exposure and everything else. Because if you're using the communal stuff, it's a risk to everybody, to be honest. So yeah,
the thing a lot of South Africans doesn't know about New Zealand is there's a lot of, especially I would say, older people living permanently in either camper vans or these what they call fifth wheelers, that type of big caravans. That's a permanent living way for them. So they're also stuck here in limbo somewhere.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're even looking at the homeless and what they're going to do, to provide shelters and so on for that. I mean, look, the thing. To be honest, I thought that if anything had to happen, everything will close towards the end of this week. I didn't expect it to be announced on Monday and schools closing on Tuesday, So everything's happened so quickly, everybody, I think like everybody, we thought we had some time to prepare, some time to get these things into place. And that wasn't the case. And every day there's new things. There's just so much information. There's just new stuff being announced, it's overwhelming with all the information, then trying to sort yourself out, and then trying to sort other people out, it's just, you kind of like lose focus,
That's right.
with what needs to happen. One thing though is, I would say, is people that are on temporary visas that don't have visas for longer than 24 months, you really need to probably consider taking out health insurance, just in case you get sick, because the public system, look, right now, if you get sick, everyone has to be treated anyway. But, you're probably going to risk being stung with a massive bill if it's not under the COVID-19, so consider doing that and taking out some health insurance if you don't have that. And especially with those people that are going to be getting automatic extensions on their visas, or even if they have residence in and you can apply for a 12-month sort of extension on your current visa, you're not going to have that public health, being covered because it's a 12-month visa. So consider those things. And look, Jan, I'm not trying to sell your services or anything. I'm just trying to say that this is where you have this gaps.
We have had a problem with getting less than 24 months to give them medical insurance, but we have found the way to do that now. So we are in position of a company who is willing to allow people, even on a 3-month visa, to give them
Yeah.
You're kind of busy with people on a visitor's visa that's here for about 9 months.
Yeah.
Give them health insurance. I mean, that's so important, especially in these trying times.
Yeah, I know. So guys, while you're doing those renewals, doing those extensions, whatever, consider that. Is there any other questions that we have? So just to let you know, immigration is actually closed now. They're only on skeleton staff, and they only have a certain number of couriers that are actually getting out passports to people that need to urgently leave or need them, to apply for visas and so on. So immigration's closed for 4 weeks. Now, I know people are going, oh, what's happening to our residents and so on. Look, I think you need to understand these case officers are humans too. We all have the same risks, and it's a matter of life and death now. It's not a matter of processing my residents. So I think people need to have some empathy on that and go, look, it's we all need to shut down. And I think with them invoking that epidemic management notice gives immigration that relief that, look, we don't need to process visas now. We're going to do interim visas. We're going to do those extensions, and we can deal with it when we come back online. So that's good. So anybody submitting paper-based applications, they're probably going to just be sitting somewhere. So you possibly are going to. They could possibly misplace those documents, so just be careful about that. And that's major stuff, because you're looking at medicals, you're looking at police certificates, all those things that's so hard to replace right now. So be aware of that. While you may be submitting online applications, they're not going to be looked at right now. So if visas are expiring, don't worry, you'll get an interim visa automatically. Okay, so you'll be lawful.
It's also noting, I just want to read from the other screen. People need to be aware. So roadblocks on Northern. That was on the news last night. It's quite interesting. The iwi blocking roads going up north. Eh?
Yeah, look. While everybody's saying it's illegal and everything else, they want to protect their iwis and everything else. Yeah. And you can understand that they look up north. Jan, there's lots of tourists. It's a very touristy place, right?
There's a lot of places that you can't even get signal. No,
exactly.
Internet, nothing. It's rural.
Yeah. So that's why I think the iwi is saying, look, we don't want these tourists coming in because our whānau are not protected. We don't have all the stuff there. Some are poor communities. We don't have all these things. So we don't want anybody coming in. And right. I can understand that. But
I fully understand that. I've got respect for that. I mean,
yeah.
I think you should actually have a roadblock in the middle of each island as well, just to say, well, don't go around.
Well, I heard something about them saying that they're going to do. I think there was a funny thing where they said, like with what is this, Hunger Games? You have districts, and they were saying, which district are we? So that's a funny one. Yeah.
Question coming through from Cornelia: if the lockdown is lifted, will New Zealanders get first option on work? That will probably be the fact, because we have to look after New Zealanders first. So
I think, once everything comes back and the economy starts picking up again and businesses start, putting things together, there's going to be a lot of unemployed people. There's going to be, the reality is there's going to be a lot of unemployed people. The market's going to be flooded with a lot of people as well. So it's going to be New Zealanders first, and that's what we're thinking. So if you are on those shorter visas, or visas are expiring, it's probably going to pay to actually get 3-year visas or 30-month visas rather than getting 12 months or whatever. Because when those labour market tests come out as well, because the market's going to be so flooded, the labour market tests are going to be stringent and I think employers are going to be questioned, why aren't you employing New Zealanders? You should be training them up as well. So those things. So be aware of that, guys. So if you're on a work visa that's going to expire in 2 months, 3 months, think of getting a longer visa, not even 12 months. So it's important that you do that.
All right. What happens if I've lost my job with the current problems that there are in this country? What happens now? They say all is good, you can all go back to work. How long period do I have?
We don't know that. Immigration's working through that. So we know that right now, the way the policy is currently written is we talk about full-time work, and full-time work is 30 plus hours. And I know people are facing reduced hours, been losing their job, and companies saying, look, we'll pick it up when we get, when we come back again, and we'll definitely employ you. So immigration are working there. We actually don't have the answers right now, because that's something that they will work through. And we know that right now in the current circumstances, or I should say in normal circumstances, we know that that will affect residents. But I think that there will be some leniency towards all this for that period of time. But that's just my opinion, because nothing's been cast in stone. Nothing's been announced as yet.
My thoughts is just, if there is jobs that you can apply for now, to probably not do this. Being the reason behind this, I think once they get back to work, and it's a 6 weeks, because this is how long I actually think this could last, 6 to 8 weeks period from now, they probably will just clean up those boxes and start from afresh and say, let's re-advertise this position. So if you have applied and you're sitting back at home thinking somebody's going to read your CV, it's probably not going to happen as well.
Yeah, yeah. Look, if you're overseas and you're still in South Africa actually looking for jobs, you're not going to get them. You're probably not going to get those jobs in the next 12 to 18 months, because whoever's here onshore will probably be the first pick anyway, even if you may be on a work visa and so on, because I think they would provide some leniency towards that to employ everybody that's still currently on work visas. If you coming in, I don't think that's something that's going to happen in the near future. One thing I wanted to say was, just remember, if you've taken a new job, or if you've got a new job and in your employment contract you have a probation period, the company can let you go within that probation period, and there's nothing you can do about it. So be aware of it. If you have new job offers, maybe try and get the employer to push that out to either end of the year or next year.
That's right.
Yeah, and then maybe either apply then if it's still available, or notify immigration if you've got that application going.
All right. Yeah. A lot of the companies or a lot of the people I spoke to, even as long as up to a year, will let go from their work. Although they were promised once everything has been lifted, you can come back, or you'll be the first to be reconsidered. I mean, this is still a hectic financial thing, and I think somewhere tomorrow, so I must probably address the finances of the people, because that's also important, that people know what to do in a time like this. I mean,
I know.
It's hectic, and I really feel sorry for a lot of people.
You know what? The good thing is that New Zealand's actually offered the benefit, or not the benefits, but all the funding and so on for New Zealanders and non-New Zealanders. Everybody on temporary visas are eligible for those, thankfully. And I'll tell you what, Australia hasn't done that. They only did that yesterday. So a lot of people have lost jobs, and they pretty much are in financial crap, pretty much, because they don't have any income coming in. They've got rent and so on. And I'm glad that the government froze the rent. And I'm hoping those mortgage holidays will actually benefit both renters and mortgage, homeowners.
I think they only froze the rental increases.
Yeah. But like,
you're still going to pay rent at the end of the day.
I know, and the thing is, I hope that banks give us that mortgage holidays, but like with the good sort of thing that your landlords can actually say to you guys, hey, don't pay for the next 6 months or whatever, come right, and then let's just look at this again. So I'm hoping that it would benefit all of us rather than just mortgage homeowners, Yeah.
There's just something coming in from Natasha Hampson asking, if your profession is in demand, will they still not look at you for 2 years, or will it depend on your profession? I still think it's depending on the profession, but people got to remember there is about, I would say, 30-40%. I don't have the real figures, but a lot of people has lost their jobs now. Yeah. So if they are in that profession, they will rather take a Kiwi or South African that's already onshore than waiting for another one for 3 months.
That's right. Yeah. It's not going to happen, guys. If you're overseas and you're looking and so on, while look at the long-term skills shortage. Let's just say that's gone out the window right now. Everything's gone out the window. Everything's not the way we normally work in. It's like, okay, employers are trying to keep those people that they have employed and look after them. They're not looking at people that are coming in, I have somebody like a big company, an accredited employer that was starting in May, and they've pretty much said, sorry, and this was a high earner person, and I've said, look, can we maybe possibly talk to the employer and push that start date out so we can get a variation of travel conditions for you, because that visa's expiring in May. I've also got another one that I've just done last week, and the employer said, we want you, but it's going to be probably at the end of the year, So I've got to let immigration know that it's going to be end of the year,
That's right.
So those things, I mean, the reality is there's no jobs, and people are trying to actually pay whoever they have on their books, and keep them afloat. Yeah.
Quick question for you now. You being the one with the immigration brains down here. So, what happens if let's say I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
I've arrived here. Now I've lost my job, or they told me to be stay at home for a period of time, which I'm supposed to do, so stay at home. But like yesterday, we received jobs in Tauranga as security people. Those just those guys that regulate the doors in front of pharmacies or Pack and Save and these places. Can I, as a short term, or people that have lost my job now, immediately go and work there or not?
I can't tell you that question, or I can't answer that question for you, because we don't know. So we don't know whether you can take up anything while you're supposed to be an accountant or employed as an accountant in this particular company, because that's what your visa says. So right now, everything is up in the air. That is why I would say, if you've lost your job, make sure your employer is applying for the WINS, the funding, so you can get the $585 a week. That will take you to something at least until, and that's for 12, it's been paid out for 12 weeks. So it'll take you to something, and then we can decide.
Vanita. It's as if employers would rather just fire the people than apply to WINS for this money. That's what I saw it down here. I mean, I don't know what.
It's crazy, and I think the employees, look, immigration. Well, let's just say IRD says that look, if you feel that your income's decreasing, you can't maintain employment, employers and so on, just apply. It's for 12 weeks, just apply. Look, I think employees as well should go and apply if the employer doesn't want to and they've lost their job. So you have both sides, so you can do both sides. Even if you've lost
your job, you think that?
Yes. Go onto the IRD website. I'll share that link after we're done, so that people can go on, read what's required, and go and fill out that and at least get some income, Yeah.
I know $500 is not a lot per week, but
it's not. But it's
money
something
you didn't have in the past, so
it's going to feed you at least, and then hopefully you can speak to your landlord, and the landlord can go on holiday, the mortgage holiday, so that at least you can benefit out of it. And let's just hope landlords are sympathetic in these situations. Yeah.
Well, I know the other. I won't say good parties, they can't throw you out now.
I know.
Else has been stopped as well during lockdown. So.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think everybody has to help everybody, no matter what. At the end of the day, it's not about my back pocket, but you actually have to help people, survive through this, because this is not a normal circumstance. No. Schools, there's been a change temporary change to the Education Act for schools. A lot of schools are going online with their teaching. My son started yesterday, and he did a full 9 to 3 day online, and he goes, that was really weird, So and the thing is, some schools have pulled their holidays forward as well, with the Easter and so on. They'll start back when they've got everything online, or they're able to provide that. But I think if you're rural, that's a bit of a problem, with that.
That's right. That's right.
And what else? I think that's pretty much it that I could say, unless if there's any other questions that we have. Look, unfortunately, I don't have answers, guys, because we don't have those answers. Immigration doesn't have those answers.
I don't see any other questions that we haven't.
I saw something about a diesel mechanic or something. I know that like essential services, I know tire places are open. I think some repair places are open, like probably your car places and so on. But I don't, there's a big list. I think I shared it with your link yesterday on what essential services are. So, yeah.
All right. Vanita, thanks. I think before the lockdown is over, we're going to have you back here as well.
Okay.
We need you back here. I need some backup behind me.
I will share as much as I can as information changes, as things change, so people know what's going on. And what's his name now? What was I going to say? Oh, I completely forgot. Sorry. Sorry.
No, keep that in the back of your mind and we'll get you back here.
But I'll send you a message and tell you, hey, these things have happened, so maybe I come on. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Vanita.
No problem.
And we'll speak again. I'm going to chuck you out now.
Yeah.
And then we are going to ask Elzaan Meiber to quickly come in and demonstrate a few of the breathing techniques that you need to have while you are having this problem, because your lungs presumably is one of the better parts. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, and you?
All right, let's get you into the camera. You better looking than me, so.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Elzaan Meiber, and I'm a physiotherapist at Avenue Physio Fitness. So as you all know, we are in this crisis of COVID-19, and it's really important to have a look at your breathing. Not only because of COVID-19, but also because we're going into flu season. I don't know how many of you know this, but COVID-19 actually does affect your lungs quite badly, and it causes fibrosis of your lungs. So those of you who don't know what fibrosis is, it's basically damage of your lung tissue, causing scarring in the lungs, which in result causes elasticity in your lungs to decrease, which makes it a lot harder to breathe. So therefore, we need to take care of our lungs right now and make sure they are very healthy. So I'm going to show you a technique called active cycle of breathing technique, and it's a cycle that you're going to complete, that you can do quite a few times. Bear with me, it is not a very attractive technique to show, so feel free to laugh at me if you want. Yeah, okay, so let's start with it. So active cycle of breathing consists of 3 parts. The first part is called just breathing control. So you will put your hand on your diaphragm, or just on your, on here.
More to the picture there.
There we go. Okay, so you'll put your hand right here on your diaphragm or your upper abdominal area, and you'll just breathe in normally. So this will just help you to relax your breathing. So you'll just breathe in and out. So in through your nose and out through your mouth. So only breathe in through your nose if you feel comfortable and if you don't have a stuffy nose. Then next up, you'll do that for a few times. Just breathe in normally. Then after that, you'll go to step 2. So step 2 is deep breathing. So with deep breathing, I want you to take a deep breath in, as deep as possibly, and you'll hold that breath for 2 to 3 seconds. And then before you breathe out, I would like you to try something called thoracic expansion. So before you breathe out, you're just going to breathe in a little bit more and then go out. So it will be deep breath in, hold that for 2 to 3 seconds, and then before you breathe out, go and then out. So a nice deep outline, like breathe out nice and deeply like a sigh. Then
so this will strengthen your lungs.
So it will increase your lung capacity, because we don't actually use all of our lung capacity every day. Yeah, so it's good to increase that capacity while we still have the elasticity. Then the last step 3 is called huffing. Now this is where you can start laughing, because it's quite funny. So you have 2 types of huffing. So huffing is to clear the secretions from your lungs, bring it to the mid airways, to your thoracic area, so that you can cough it up. So with huffing you have 2 types. You have your medium volume huffing. So that is to get the secretions from the lower parts of your lungs up into your mid-thoracic airways. And then you have your high volume huffing. That's to get the secretions out from more of the upper airways. So your medium huffing is like it's slower and more controlled. So it's like fogging up a mirror. So it's just breathing in 50% and then fogging up the mirror. So it's a deep breath up. Then your high volume huffing is where you force the secretions out of your upper airways. So it's going to be, so it's very funny to do, but it really helps to just clear that secretions
You
from.
probably not do this in the supermarket.
Yeah, so it just helps to clear that secretions from your upper airways to the mid-thoracic area, so that you can cough it up. So you will you will do the cycle a few times, breathing control, followed by deep breathing, taking a few nice deep breaths with thoracic expansion, and then doing your huffing. So you can do your medium huffing and your high volume huffing. Just be aware that you should not be doing the huffing part more than 2 times. Otherwise, you'll go into an uncontrollable cough, and we would like to prevent that. So if you would like some more information about this, you can just leave your email address under the comments.
Yeah, you can just pop your email address a little bit later on the comments.
Yeah, and then I will send you a leaflet with information about deep breathing exercises to clear your secretions and keep your lungs healthy. Yeah.
I hope that was helpful to you all. Elzana, what job are you doing here in New Zealand?
I'm a physiotherapist.
Why are you stuck here with me in the office?
Because I'm dating your son.
Oh, I was always wondering what's happening there. All right, guys, because that was Elzan. Elzan is an ex-South African, as you can hear. She's still very much a South African, basically. So hopefully he'll become a resident very soon of this beautiful island. Elzan is still working throughout the period of time, although she's not doing face-to-face. So if you are in the Tauranga area, or let's say anywhere in New Zealand, are you willing to help South Africans as well?
Yeah.
All right. Elzan will drop her details down here. If you have any problem with your airways or want to have more information on how just to keep yourself healthy, especially in times like this, we're living in untested times. I've never seen anything like this ever in my life. I've seen 9/11. I've seen a lot of other stupid stuff that people done. But I've never seen a total lockdown on a nation. So we will, as time progresses, we'll see where it goes. And that's why I decided to do this 30 minutes with Jan every day, just to keep myself sane and probably some other people out there. So if you need any help with this, any help at all, please contact Elzan. She'll leave her details, she'll leave an email address there, and so on. And she's spoken for to the young guys out there. So
yeah, and then also it's very important to keep your mental and physical health fit. So go for regular walks. You are allowed to go outside. So go for walks just to try to keep sane in this very difficult times. And then also you can go and follow our Facebook page, Avenues Physio Fitness. From next week Monday, we're going to start with videos on exercises that you can do at home. So yeah, give us a follow.
I'm seeing you guys do those videos, drop them on the page for us as well, and then we can probably help somebody, especially myself. I got on the scale this morning. Goodness me. I only start running with you every morning. So. All right, guys, that was us in a nutshell this morning. I haven't done any of the morbid stuff like how many people is dead, blah, blah, blah. I'll do that tomorrow morning. So keep your same time tomorrow morning, all the way from Welcome Bay. My name is Jan Viljoen. This is Elzan, our in-house physiotherapist these days. All right. We'll see you all and have a lovely day. Thanks, guys.